For me, maybe Hong Kong is an extreme example of a high-density, high-rise, very compressed city, but in an extraordinary place. So the fact that it's stuck between quite a high, rocky mountain that often has clouds on top of it and the sea in a archipelago of little islands, I think makes it a really interesting place to do something like Event Horizon, which is asking very simple but basic questions about where the human project fits in the scheme of things. I think the idea of Event Horizon is to recognize that when citizens are immersed in a high-density environment, in some senses you lose the contact with that notion of a wider space. And certainly with the real horizon, you could say the meeting between space and the planet, or between sky and earth. And yeah, the idea of the work is in some way making these images that show a human space in space that exists on the pavement, on the shared ground of the city, but also at a height and at an inaccessible location. And I guess that's in the end what the point of the work is, to say, well, human beings count, the individual counts, this is a sign of life. I want all of the installations of Event Horizon to be this catalyst for a kind of reverie. Doesn't mean to say that it'll happen, but in some senses, in putting these foreign bodies, you could say that they're a kind of irritant. They're grit in the oyster that hopefully not only changes the topography or the incident in the topography, but actually changes the way that you look at that topography or look at that scene. And I say what this is a form of transformation that hopefully makes the real world into something that can be dreamed with. These are still silent objects that are in some senses displaced, and they're taken out of the context of the gallery, the museum, the protective intellectual context of an institutional showing. And suddenly they're loose signifiers out there, an open work, whatever people think or feel is fine. I hope that what it means is that somehow the world itself that they are interacting with becomes more porous, and the figure becomes the city. The thing that you can really look at is the city. And these are, as it were, permeable holes within the fabric of the city that allows you to think about it and in a way its values and its meanings more freely.